And it looks like we've selected Cyclone for this one, and we're gonna be starting on Cyclone and also doing Cyclone for map 2 here. Vivid, totally different map than Cracked. What do you think about Cyclone?
Oh man, Cyclone is going to be a treat. I feel like Cyclone as well. This is definitely one of the newer maps as well, correct? Yeah. So this one I do not have as much experience on, but I do believe Cyclone features a couple of different vehicles than we saw over on the past 2 maps, right? I think there are water vehicles, and then I think the helicopter is also introduced on this map as well. So we will definitely see a different dynamic on Cyclone as well. Again, not a map that I have as much experience on as the other 2.
It does look like Legacy are going to be our attackers to start, and the Avengers are going to be our defenders to start. So if you see red, that's going to be our Legacy teams, and if you see green, that's going to be the defense. That's going to be the Avengers. So I'm liking these name selections. They're much easier to say than Squirtle Squad 5 times fast.
Exactly.
And I'm pumped for this map. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Let me ask you something good, right? Kind of going into the match, right? Game number 1 here. Would you rather go into like this kind of warm up for the rest of the day here? Would you rather be on the attacking side first or the defending side first?
Oh, that is a great question. According to history, I guess you should be on the attacking side and lose in a dramatic fashion, because that's what happened with Squirrel Squad, who won the entire competition. Here's our game, a very pretty and beautiful map. Here's the beginning of it, and like we have stated, there is multiple different styles of combat. You already see some boats coming into the mix, and are our jets? I think our jets have been added recently, so I think they would be in the air. I think we've got some jets in play. Let's go.
Ooh, that'll be very interesting to kind of keep an eye on. I won't lie, I already saw the defense kind of blow up one of those infantry vehicles that you were kind of talking about earlier. That was an easy 4-piece off the rip for one of our defenders right here, but the attack is still going to be coming in here. And you want to talk about, how close you are to kind of some of these points. I feel like Cyclone A, like it almost feels like the attacking side is like spawning right there, right? They take a couple steps and it already feels like they're knocking on the front door.
Yeah, no, 100%. And it's usually the case with some of these longer maps. Like we said, this is going to go the distance, if you will, much more similar to Threshold. Here's a look at some aerial perspectives. We've kind of got an under the body cam and missiles going down. Quick look at the jet. I love the free cam look as well. It's great to see jets added into the mix. This is a very recent addition into the Delta Force, and I wasn't sure if it was in customs, but of course it is. We're on the latest patch, so jets into the mix. Some dogfights may be happening, but we got some dogfights down below as well. We got a lot of bodies on point trying to battle for position.
That's very, very interesting, right? Kind of the recent addition in that jet. A big thing about competition a lot of times is actually experience, right? And when you're kind of talking about it, a lot of our competitors throughout the day already have shown experience has been shown, whether it be dealing with this, that, or the other thing. The fact that jets are fairly new, maybe a lack of experience on actually how to deal with them would be a big factor in terms of getting that out of the sky. So we'll have to see how much impact that one has. I'd imagine it's going to have a lot.
Yeah, no, that is a really good shot. I'll be very curious to see how much impact it has, because obviously if you can take control of the skies, it could be a huge value add for your team, but you've got to be extremely efficient with that vehicle in order to find real value on the ground. One of the big uses for it, of course, is taking down some enemy vehicles as well, but we've got Sonic and our helicopter trying to flare and swerve out of the way. So our attackers have a vehicle of their own, and they take to the skies as well. And a pretty mobile vehicle, this helicopter. Good helicopter drivers can do a ton of damage with this vehicle. So let's see what they're able to do. And again, seeing multiple different types of warfare already at the very beginning of this map. And so far, you're right, the attackers, they've got their legs on the point, but they haven't fully captured it. Slowly but surely tracking their way towards B.
Yeah, definitely working out pretty well so far. Again, you kind of mentioned it earlier in the day as well. You don't really want to drop below around, what was it, like 120 tickets. You want to kind of stay pretty healthy, so that way when you do capture that first point, you go on to the next one with another full supply of tickets. So right now they were taking that at around 150 tickets, but I can't lie, the defense is putting up that return push that we've seen throughout the day so many times. So shout out to the defense for kind of pushing them back, even though they were close to capturing them.
Yeah, that's a really good shout. Continue to pay attention to our live counter, and almost stalled out on the point somewhat. Finally, the attackers getting a little bit more value. Should push this thing into neutral territory shortly. That's a lot of red on the point. This could be the first or the last push on point A that sees some value. Boats in the water come swinging in and immediately get wrecked. This is the interesting part of the terrain, is that there's some positions where boats and land vehicles can traverse, and that is one of them. That small little canal there. Looks like our IFV has won that battle. Because of that, we've lost the ship on the side of the attackers.
Yeah, you imagine that was actually a big fight right there. You could see the ship knew it was taking damage. It tried to get out. A last shot to go ahead and actually take out that IFV, but unsuccessful. So that's going to be a net win for the defensive side for sure. And as I say that, the attackers, they do go ahead and pick up the first objective there. A, of course, that's, you know, that's pretty much almost guaranteed. It feels like a lot of times, right? Because it is just so close to where they actually spawn in. The defender's not able to put up a, you know, any meaningful, what feels like at least a meaningful defense right there, right there. They should have full tickets for this push on to B.
Yeah, no, that's very true. Now, what I am not seeing, I didn't see it in the kill feed, but what I am not seeing is the jet anywhere. There's a chance it was already taken out. There are some AA guns on the map that maybe somebody could have used to take down the jet quickly if they were a bit careless of a driver, but we'll check in on that if we do see it in the skies. Maybe it's still up there, but I think our attackers still have that helicopter is what you're seeing up in the air. Nice angle here for Bunny Quid, Madison, this crew. Playing pretty well, but yeah, I'll be very curious to see if they can hold B. Again, this is a single point, so we're not moving to B1, B2. It's just B, and we'll move into the C sectors.
Yeah, I mean, if we talk about the jet for a second, right? When you think about all of the vehicles, we know how easy it is for some of our competitors to do damage to vehicles. They just know how. All of the vehicles in the game can pretty much be repaired, but I think the jet seems almost impossible, right? Because it's a one seat, right? So you can't have like an engineer over there, and I don't really know if you could land the jet to have an engineer go ahead and repair that. So, you know, once damage is kind of done to the jet, it's pretty much permanent. So working at it was probably pretty easy for some of our competitors right now. And, you know, the skies, though, they're not clear. There's still a helicopter up there, and I've seen some nasty things done with a helicopter. But that thing being up there does worry me for the defensive side.
Yeah, we'll keep our eyes out on it. I know some of our land vehicles, IFVs, even some tanks, depending on angles. Man, we're getting so much value. I want to say that is... I didn't quite see the name. I saw NHP maybe, but one of our players on the defensive side is getting a ton of value with one of the tanks underneath, picking up ship after ship that moves into their view.
Yeah, great work there, right? Staying mindful of the fact that that is possible, of course, on this map. Sometimes it's very, very easy to kind of get distracted. Hey, you know, I know they're kind of spawning over here, but, you know, that very quick look to the left and towards the water is paying dividends right now for the defense. And hey, listen, you're kind of talking about the vehicle game being won over by the defense. I feel like 40 tickets down already. That's kind of happened very quickly. So this is seeming quite favorable early on for the defense side towards this B objective.
Boletinia is in the tank on the attacker side, seeing some nice value in the kill feed. Got a tank destroyer on the side of the defense that maybe we could utilize. And here's a look at a helicopter POV. Don't look at it too long. You might get sick. But the helicopter driver's built different, making some moves in the air to avoid some fire and then punish their opponents down on the ground.
Always tough for me to actually jump in some of the aerial vehicles in any of these sorts of games. I never really could get a full grasp on it, so I do have a certain amount of respect for anybody that can kind of jump into one of those things and find it easily manageable. And, you know, we were kind of talking about how the defense was putting on quite a good, you know, strong hold, but I saw the flank kind of coming in. It looked like the flank was working for a second right there, but again, that is actually going to be thwarted as well. But big kills, a lot of them coming in for the attack all at the same time right there. You would imagine something's going to be made of this.
And it does look like, by the way, I'm seeing Sonic, who is the commander for the Legacy team, is the one in the helicopter. And that helicopter just got taken down right as I said that. Sorry, Sonic. Goes down. Some extra points there for Neo, who was able to pick up the helicopter out of the air, getting a commander kill. And we're going to have to regain. Sonic might have to go back to his feet and back to a gun in hand, but still some nice value with the heli. The problem is really not the value you want. I mean, I say it's an assured thing. It's not. We learned that. But I will say it's usually an assured thing. And so you really want to make sure you maintain vehicle control and maintain a vehicle life through B and even into C at least. So this is not looking good for the attackers losing their air.
Yeah, I mean, we saw them, right? They had a helicopter at one point. They had a tank at one point. And I don't see either of them on the field at all right now, right? So the vehicle game seemingly being won by the defense. Now, of course, we do know that at some point the attack side will get enough points to go ahead and get another wave of vehicles in. The thing about it is, until they get to that point, how many tickets will they bleed through? Because as of right now, having 99 left, you would imagine that they're going to have probably 100% less than 180 going into C if they end up securing B right now. So this is a very, very good win at the very minimum for the defending side.
Yeah, you're seeing how much value these tank destroyers can find, especially when you've got engineers locked on them. And in a competitive setting like this, like I said before in Group A, it's not even a strategy anymore. It's a necessity. You've got to have engineers on your team. But generally speaking, we're seeing a nice spread of operators based on preference or based on what your squad has been assigned to. Here's a nice flank from the Bear squad, finding an angle to pick up a couple in rotation and make their way to the point. Finally, the attackers, they found some footing. Took them a while, but they found quite a bit of footing, and it helps when you've got a route man like this playing the back angles and making sure the reinforcements don't arrive.
Emergency reinforcements.
Everybody at home might be like, what the heck is he looking at? Like, he just killed the guy. He's just like staring at the ground, looking for, you know, some respawn beacons lurking down there. It's a good spot to kind of hide them because they kind of blend in with some of the terrain right there. And yeah, that attack, it was very, very good. I actually thought they were going to go ahead and lock that one down. But again, another resurgence from the defensive side to go ahead and jump on that point to make sure they don't give that one up.
Nice win there by blocking. A couple attackers in the area, and he's holding his ground quite nicely. Unfortunately, won't be able to survive for too much longer. We've got another vehicle coming in for the defense. They've got a ton. So here's a look at the destroyer over the bridge. You've also got a boat down in the water kind of playing the low ground. This is mostly to help out to make sure nobody can flank through the water. And it looks like the attackers have got a tank on the far side, all the way over to the other side of the water, playing the opposite side of the point where their spawn is. So if they can get this vehicle potentially active and keep it alive, this could change things. But you're right. I thought they were going to take it for sure. The defense did a really good job of getting back. Respawn beacon certainly playing a part of that. There's the tank.
Stepped out right there to go ahead and ping it. That was Neo being the commander right there, so letting his entire team know, hey, there's a tank right here. The tank is going to be taking some damage, but not enough to go down. I think it is going to get away. I think it can sneak around that corner over there and hopefully get a repair.
Wow, nice.
And yeah, sure enough. Oof, but it was close.
Yeah, I mean, it got good value. Very well done to get in, get value, and still get out. This kind of in and out gameplay you'll oftentimes see from vehicles because it's keeping that vehicle alive is almost as important as getting kills with it at all. So see these vehicles go in and out, back up, get their engineers on it, heal it back up to full, and get right back into the mix. Bunny Quid putting on a bit of a show for us. UTP trying to make a name for themselves.
Oh,
that was close.
Oh my God, that was almost crazy. If he would have got that kill after popping the ult right in front of him, that would have been insane. But crazy that Bunny Quid was actually able to go ahead and push that far into the fence and find some value at the very minimal out of that push right there. And yeah, I mean, hey, listen, it's not looking too good right now for the attacking side. Obviously, they still have to get the point. If they do get the point, they will not have that many tickets again to go on forward towards that C point. The fact that they're down to 30 right now, I'm a little worried, and I don't see the tank that they just had anywhere to be found. So I think they've lost that as well.
Yeah, no, 100%. That's a great breakdown. This is, frankly, a loss for the attackers in general. Even if they do at this point, it's going to be quite difficult to win the overall map. But again, determining the outcome of Game 3, if it is a traded wins, will come down who gets priority based on how many points you capture. So even if you don't think you're going to be able to win the map, you've got to win this point and then just see what happens from there. Sai's going to make that very difficult, picking up his allies and winning the gunfight.
Artillery barrage incoming.
A hipfire build. Don't see those often in warfare because usually you do get some situations where you do have to take some of those mid to long range battles, right? So a scope is often very helpful, but you know, finding a spot like this where the attackers are kind of coming around the corners right into your little hip fire. Working out very, very well so far. Yeah, he's finding so much value.
This is great. Playing some of the CQB positions inside this fortress. 5 lives remaining, folks. Don't catch it by surprise. This is going to be a win for the defense. A perfect hold. Only one big push that really had the defense shaking at all. But a quick recovery means the defense is going to win on point B. The Avengers, living up to their namesake, came in at the right moment. The heroes of the map. Cyclone is theirs, at least on the defensive side. Very well done from this team.
Yeah, I mean, that looked incredible. I don't know what guy earlier said we were going to see an attack-sided win today, but that guy is a little silly, looking a little silly right now. Of course, one more opportunity to go ahead and pull that one out, but the event